a good ball played in for Tony Morley. Oh, he missed it! It is! Peekaboo! Villa in the lead!
Hello, Aston Villa fans, and welcome to the Villa Forever podcast. I am your host, Chad Williams. Please subscribe and make sure to smash the like button on this video. And you can follow me on Spotify, Amazon Music, and Apple Podcasts. This is the Avfc weekly recap, your weekly dose of Aston Villa news and headlines. Aston Villa lose their focus and Spurs put the villains to the sword. In this episode, I'm joined by my special guest, Aaron Thornton, all the way from the Big Apple. He's a great friend of mine. We'll be reflecting on yesterday's 4-1 defeat, thrashing at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium against Spurs. And as an Aston Villa fan, this defeat was really hard to take. And watching it, I was so frustrated. And Unai Emery is something you rarely see. And we have some huge games coming up, including Club Brugge, the Champions League, and Liverpool in the Premier League. We just need to move on for this result quickly. It's a great time on the show, Aaron. How are you?
Dad, it's always an honour to come onto this show. So, when you asked me to come on, I jumped at the chance. It's a shame it's not in better circumstances after yesterday's result, but I think it's sort of sunk in a bit now. I've had a night to sleep on it. I'm still not over the moon with it, but I think I've sort of got a new perspective on things. So looking forward to sharing our thoughts.
Well, I'm going to use this episode as a therapy session, sort of to vent my anger. But yeah, when I watched it, did you watch it?
Yes, unfortunately, I did watch it. Yeah, it was a weird game. I had it down as a game of two halves. I actually thought the first half we seemed quite professional, and I thought we actually controlled parts of the game or parts of the first half quite well. And then the second half, I mean, I don't know what Big Ange said to Tottenham during the team talk, but whatever he said got them fired up, and they came out all guns blazing. And I think the frustrating thing for me was that it was individual errors that I feel cost us more, because the scoreline 4-1 did not reflect the true game, I don't think.
And also as well in the game, in the first half we managed it quite well. We got ourselves in front, and I thought in that first half we frustrated Spurs. And we got through it with a 1-0 goal lead. Then second half was completely different.
Yeah, I agree. I know Matty Cash gets a lot of stick, but I actually thought, he kept Son fairly quiet during the first half. I thought Onana, I've not been critical of Onana, but I've not seen this sort of this combative midfielder consistently since he signed. I actually thought yesterday first half performance was one of the better halves, or possibly the best I've seen him play. I thought he was really, really helpful breaking up the play and covering our back line and getting the ball forward and driving. I thought he was really impressive. I thought Jacob Ramsey was good all game, to be honest. I thought he was probably our best player, but I thought he was great on the wing. So first half, I sort of came in at half time thinking, okay, if we can just sort of keep that momentum.
I'm going to get a second.
Exactly. Yeah. get a second, and the next goal is always important. And I think Tottenham scoring so early on just sort of killed our momentum slightly, and that was it really.
And also, we would have few free kicks in the game. But I thought Morgan Rogers, he was excellent. He had a great game.
Yeah.
As well, I was really impressed with Rogers.
Yeah, I love Rogers. I just I not long did a little piece on Rogers. I think it's on TikTok, just eulogizing about how much I just think he's such a great talent. And yet again yesterday, he's just so majestic on the ball. He just carries the ball, and I think it's even better that he's a local boy. He's a Brummie lad, of the Brummies. The only thing I would say is that I don't know whether we're going to get found out a bit, because we do give him the ball a lot, and we need him to turn into those areas. We sort of give him the ball in the number 10 role and him to turn, and that's him away.
He's very direct.
Yeah, he's direct, but I just don't. Teams will find that out fairly quick, and if they shut him down, then that's an outlet that we've sort of gone. And he's going to get targeted a lot more now, because he's starting to, get a lot of plaudits. And I think a lot of teams are trying to go for him a bit. You saw a few tackles on him yesterday. I mean, Romero, I don't know what he was doing, but I mean, there was some pretty dicey challenges on him yesterday. So
also, that Benson call. I mean, he put in some bad challenges. He did. The second one.
Yeah, I thought the ref actually, because I think it was against Bournemouth where I was getting really frustrated, because I think the ref gave a yellow card so early on, so he set precedent, and it was yellow after yellow after yellow. So I actually thought the ref yesterday was sort of the opposite side of that, and he sort of let the game carry on, 2, 3, 4 warnings, but then it was like some of these challenges, they're yellow cards. How are you not giving a yellow card for this? So yeah. Some pretty dicey challenges. I agree.
And he let too much go, the referee.
Yeah, no, he did. I think that it's a fine balance, isn't it? Having letting the game flow and being able to sort of like enjoy it without stop-starting, but then also disciplining players when they've gone a bit too far. So I think the balance was slightly off, but yeah, frustrating 45 minutes, I would say.
And let's talk about the second half. And this is the negative now. So,
okay,
it's absolutely shocking. And I was really disappointed. Look, we allowed Spurs back in the game, and a lot of the goals we conceded, they were easily avoidable, apart from the moments of brilliance from James Maddison, which is the best goalkeeper in the world. He's not going to side that.
No.
But apart from that, were absolute gifts.
Yeah, you're spot on, Chad. I think them scoring the first goal so early on, that definitely killed any sort of momentum that we were hoping to build, that we had. I don't like to dig players out, because I actually think a lot of our players consistently play well, and look, we're going to have bad performances, we're going to have bad games. I thought Pau Torres wasn't great in the second half yesterday, and he's usually Mr. Reliable, but for one of their goals, I think it might have been their third goal, he sort of gave the ball away, got lucky, it came back to him, gave it away again, and then they go on the break, and Kulusevski isn't going to make he's going to make the most of his opportunity to put the ball through. And I just think a lot of individual errors cost us yesterday, and like you just touched on then, of course, James Madison, Mr. Coventry, Mr. I don't like Aston Villa, of course he scores. Good goal though, great free kick, credit to him.
I mean, defending wasn't good enough. Our mistakes cost us the game.
Yeah, again, spot on with your analysis. I actually thought Spurs, I mean, I don't know if Big Ange would have done it on purpose, but I actually thought their intensity at closing down and sort of forcing our errors. they know that we play a high line. They know that we like to play it from the back. And I thought that their intensity just kept growing and growing as the game went. So I have to give full credit to Spurs. I thought they, they managed that second half well. They got the early goal, and then as soon as they got that first goal, they just kept growing and growing and growing, and we just couldn't deal with them. And the left-hand side, I think Jacob Ramsey, I thought he was great all game. But I do agree that I was looking more the opposite side where McGinn was playing.
Yeah.
There's a bit of an imbalance there. Like, look, I'm a massive John McGinn fan.
Oh,
Part Scottish, love him. Great guy. I just think, I don't know if that position's his best position. I don't think he offered much in that game and in that role. And I just thought we lacked a bit of width. And yeah, I just, some tactical tweaks I think were needed. And I think, look, Emery's a master tactician, and, I back him all the time.
Interesting.
I do think that it was just slightly off yesterday with the players in certain positions. So that was my take on it. I don't know what you think.
I know what you noticed well yesterday. But look, John McGinn, he was holding on to the ball far too long. It's not like you make it more complicated.
Yeah, he loves that backside shuffle, doesn't he? And that's what he's known for, the trademark backside shuffle. But I think teams now and players now just sort of know what John McGinn's about, and on his day, that sort of move is hard to play against. But I just think you put 2 or 3 bodies around him, and he quickly gets dispossessed. And I agree with you. He held on to the ball for too long, and it just then the ball kept getting turned over. So every time we tried to attack, we sort of killed the momentum. We had to then go back, try and chase the ball down. So McGinn didn't have his best game yesterday.
Also, the other thing we didn't do as well, we didn't close them down. Another thing, the thing we didn't do as well, we didn't beat the press. Spurs they were pressing us all game.
Yeah. They really were. Did you think? I don't know if it was just me. Did you? Yeah. And again, I'm not digging players out. I never do that. And I'm really trying to make sure that we stick on the player side here. But I honestly didn't know that Watkins was playing for the first hour or so. Like, he did a couple of things here and there.
He needed more support.
Yeah, exactly. I just think he was quite isolated up there. So like the ball was never really coming into him. So there's a lot of long balls over to him. And usually he's one to press the goalkeeper, press the defenders. And we start from when Ollie Watkins presses, the rest of the team sort of presses. But I agree with you. It seemed that we were a bit disjointed in our sort of pressing with Tottenham. Yeah. I think it's how they set up, to be fair. They were sort of standing off and sort of letting us have the ball somewhat. They almost put in a bit of an away team performance in the first half or the first hour or so, and then sort of hit us on the counter, which was, I don't know if Spurs fans like that, but it seemed to work for them. So yeah, I agree. The pressing wasn't great yesterday, but they pressed us, so maybe that was why.
I think even Watkins as well. Like, he was limited to not many chances. And Spurs kept him quiet. And, and also, I thought Paul Torres was very poor.
Yeah, there's one moment of brilliance from Watkins that I can remember. I think the ball sort of came into him, and he sort of bodied Romero out the way, and then I think it took Pedro Porro to come in and slide tackle to dispossess him. But physically, you don't see a lot of players take on Romero, and I think Watkins had the better of him. His issue is he just didn't get that many chances to have him one-on-one. So he was fairly isolated. And yeah, I agree with you. Look, Pau Torres has been consistently good. Technically, he's great. I think his vision is awesome. His passing is sublime. He's just physically, he's physically not quite there. I do worry sometimes when the opposition come through one-on-one, whether it's their pace or physicality. Pau Torres isn't always up for it.
And he gets out muscled.
Yeah, he does. And unlike him yesterday, he misplaced a couple of passes, which, look, every player is going to have a game where they misplace a pass. You know, no one's going to be 100% all the time. You know, we get that. But for him to misplace a couple of passes in a row and then ultimately it lead to a goal, I just thought that was unlike him. And the focus wasn't fully there yesterday, which surprised me.
Yeah, the third goal. I think, was it the third goal?
Yeah.
When he got dispossessed.
Yeah.
It's far too easy, really.
And that's the thing. I think, you know, Tottenham, fair play to them for pressing and for setting up how they did. So they sort of blocked certain channels, so we couldn't. You know, Pau Torres likes to put the ball in certain channels and feed it into feet to Tielemans or Rodgers. They can get the ball on the turn and just spin. They sort of cut that out. So the zip on the passes had to be faster, and I think that's what ultimately caught Torres out. And then, yeah, like you say, for the third goal, a pass went through, it got turned over, and then, you know, they weren't going to miss that opportunity to score. So, you know,
uncharacteristically, Yuri Tielemans really struggled, and he had to stop your passes. And we really missed his creativity in this game.
Yeah, you're right. I think one thing that we can rely on normally is Tielemans to unlock defenses, or, you know, play the ball through the lines and split midfield and defenses. But yeah, again, I think, and I don't want to keep banging on the Tottenham drum here because I don't want to give them too much credit. But they did a good job of stopping those channels and really stopping those. You know, they know that he's a good outlet.
Because they were the better team.
They were. I still don't think 4-1 was. Sorry, Chad, go on.
Yeah, you can't complain. They outclassed us.
Yeah, I still don't think 4-1 was a reflective scoreline, but I do think they just took their chances, took them well, and, you know, the free kick magic, a couple of their goals, forced errors, and the first goal was a great cross from Son, and obviously, you know, we just didn't deal with it as a defense. You know, the goal went in, and they're all sort of looking at each other like, well, you know, I thought you had him, I thought you had him. Just really unlike us. The communication and the organisation just wasn't at its full. So, you know,
it's something that you rarely see with Unai Emery.
Yeah,
it don't happen often.
No, and I think, do you know what, Chad? I saw a tweet last night, and it summed up. I think it put a lot of perspective into sort of like the Villa way of thinking. And someone, I don't know who it was, but it was a great tweet. They said 10 games in, you know, we're joint fourth in the league. We're 2 points above Spurs. We're 6 points above Man United. Plus, we're top of the Champions League. Yeah. So it's almost like, you know, credit to Unai Emery, because he's got us now sort of like these standards and expectations that we have for our club and for every game. We expect to win every game now, and that's down to Unai instilling that confidence and belief in us as fans. So when we don't win, it's like, oh wow, what's going on? So, you know, when you sort of digest the game, and look, it was a bad game, bad day at the office, but when you look at it, the bigger picture, you think, okay, you know, we're riding this wave, we're doing well, we're going to have some setbacks here and there, there's going to be bumps in the road, but ultimately I think we're going to be okay. But it's just, you know, it doesn't stop the fact that it's hard to take, hard to watch.
Look at what it is at Aston Villa. There's a big expectation now. And Emery he expects a certain standard.
Yeah.
But I think it's just a bad patch.
Yeah. Yeah, spot on, bad patch. You think the Bournemouth draw, the loss midweek to Crystal Palace, and then this result. Look, every team goes through a bad spell, and, you know, fortunately for us, we've got players coming back into fitness who've been injured for a long time. We're navigating competitions now. Tottenham are a good side. Tottenham away, for me, is always going to be a difficult fixture. Don't get me wrong, I don't want to get pumped 4-1. I didn't expect that. But, you know, again, perspective is needed sometimes. People get too caught up in the emotion and get very negative and start calling out players, and this is a disaster and this and that. But like you say, we have standards, expectations, and with that, there's going to be setbacks every now and then, but we need to make sure that we sort of ride that as a fan base, as a club, as a team, and we overlook it. We know Unai Emery is going to be fuming with that.
Oh,
He'll be
I'm
fuming.
furious. And on his birthday as well.
Yeah, it was his birthday. Yeah. Oh wow, I forgot about that. Yeah.
Not a great birthday.
Happy birthday, Unai. Sorry. Yeah.
But so let's talk about some positives.
Yes. Let's.
It was your Aston Villa's best performers in the game. I know you mentioned Onana. I know you mentioned him.
Yeah. How many can I have?
A
Other
few,
than
you can, yeah.
okay,
There's
I've
your
got,
one.
I've got a couple. I think, yeah, and I think for the first half, Onana was, like I said earlier, I thought he was really good. But I think consistently throughout the game, and I was pleased to see it because I think this player has been through it a bit with injury over the last sort of season and a half. I thought Jacob Ramsey played well. I thought he was disciplined in his defensive work. I think getting forwards, he was a threat. Was he at his complete best? No, nobody was because we lost the game. But I thought he was good. I thought Jacob Ramsey for me, Onana first half, and then Jacob Ramsey for the whole game was my standout player. What about
Even
you?
Ramsey, well, I think Ramsey, like you said, he played really well. He carries the ball really well, I think.
He does. He does.
And then I think then Amadou Onana.
Yeah.
I mean, he nearly scored in the first half. I mean,
Yes, he did.
it might have been different then.
Yeah.
Andy, a decent game, I thought. He got really stuck in, I think. And
Yeah.
what he does is he likes to do what the other players don't like to do. Like he does the dirty work really well.
Agreed. Agreed. Yeah. I think he's a bit of a. I think like him and Kamara. I think Kamara is better because he's had more experience. He's a bit older. I just think Kamara's a great player. But he was sort of. It was the first time I'd sort of seen him look a bit like Kamara in, like you say, doing that like dogged work, running around the pitch, breaking up the play, putting tackles in. You know, being that presence around and covering our back four, which I do think that's why defensively we struggle. Sorry, I know we're talking positive. I won't go into that just yet. But yeah, Onana, yeah, great. I agree.
Also, I noticed a few occasions. Onana reminded me a little bit of Yaya Toure. The way he drove the team further forward.
Now that's a good comparison. That I mean, if we can get Onana to the levels of Yaya Toure, then we've got a player. We've got ourselves a player there.
I want about Onana as well. That's some great challenges. There was a few occasions he did that.
Yeah, and I think, and again, that's credit to the referee as well, because I think there's some of those challenges where, you know, if he gets booked early on, he then can't make those challenges because he's sort of walking a tightrope, thinking, "Oh, am I going to get booked again? And we're going to get sent off." But the ref allowed the game to flow and a few challenges to happen. And I think Onana, like you say, put some good challenges in, and I think he's getting better. You know, and one thing we can guarantee with Unai Emery and players is that he improves them. And that's a sign of a great coach and a good player. And Onana wants to learn. You know, he's hungry. He's openly spoken about the reasons why he joined Villa. Unai Emery was a massive factor in that. And, you know, he really wants him to help push him on this next chapter in his career.
Well, Emery, you think of all the players. Emery's improved majority of the team.
Yeah. There's not one player that I think's gone backwards.
And he develops them as well, really well.
Yeah, he does.
And the other one I was impressed with as well. To be Morgan Rogers, like I said earlier, he drove past a few of the Tottenham players, using his pace. And he always works very hard, Morgan Rogers.
Yeah, he does, doesn't he? And you could tell he wasn't happy. You know, he got injured and he was still unhappy that he had to come off. So that's a sign of just a very hungry and able player. Do you know what I mean? He was just I don't know if he was fuming about the injury or fuming about the fact he came off, but I think it was the latter. And it's like, we need you. We need to protect you, mate, because you are going to be integral. You're becoming a very integral part of our squad. So we need to keep you wrapped up with games coming thick and fast.
Well, let's talk about a Spurs point of view. So,
Yeah.
which Spurs players was the most effective for them?
I thought Kulusevski was great. I
Yeah.
thought he's got good ball retention. He holds onto the ball really well. In those tight areas, he can spin, sort of in that number 10, or in those like pockets of space, like in between the midfield and defense. He's very good at getting in those spaces. And his final ball, that ball to Solanke and then Solanke's finish. I just think Kulusevski causes problems, mainly in the second half, but I just thought he was very, very good. And his physicality, I don't think Torres could really deal with. And then my other player was, is it Udogi? Is he their left back?
Left back, yeah.
I just thought he just never stopped running. He just kept going. It was a very good outlet for Spurs. And I just thought he was sort of driving a lot of that, that left-hand side, really driving them forward. When Son wasn't quite at it, Udogi was there. And I just thought he stood out for me. So those two players for me. What about you?
I think Kulusevski.
Yeah.
Because I did a match preview on Thursday, the Scarfy Spurs talk. And the
Saw it.
Spurs chat, but years ago, was it?
Very good.
They said the same thing. And I said he's going to be the biggest threat. And I was right. He's very dangerous. He got into some very good attacking positions. And he was twisting and turning defenders, always making something happen.
Yeah. He really was.
And then Son got the assist. And you see his reaction when he got substituted.
I did. He wasn't happy, was he?
No, he wasn't happy at all. So yeah, I thought Son played really well.
Yeah, Son was good. I think I quite like those reactions from players, though. I think it just shows their passion and they want to play. And I think, he just got the assist. So I think he was a bit shocked that he was coming off. But he's only just come back from injury. So I think Andrew is just trying to manage him and, not overwork him so he gets injured again.
Then you got, I think, Dominic Solanke. He was a real handful. And he really caused the centre backs problems. I think his movement was excellent.
Yeah, the finish was good, wasn't it? I mean,
Yeah.
I thought he was okay. I mean, I agree. Like, he's a good player. I didn't think he did much until he got the goals. But again, I guess that's a good sign, isn't it? When you're not really doing much, but then you've still got the ability to finish the goals as he did, is again a great sign, a good sign of a great striker. So, yeah, I thought his finishing was really, really good. He's a big lad, isn't he? So he's always going to be a threat physically. And I think Carlos was trying to match up with him, but Carlos can get a bit hot-headed, can't he? I think there's a couple of pushing and shoving, bit of that going on. But yeah, no, Solanke's good. I like Solanke, and I'm happy that his career seems to have taken off more now. So yeah, I agree.
And Solanke, his hold-up play is very good.
Yeah.
And the 2 goals he scored, right place at the right time.
Yeah. And then again, that run, Kulusevski, I think, put the ball through. And again, we have a slightly high line, don't we? But he timed that run to perfection. And that finish, that chip, that chip against the 2-time Yasin award-winning goalkeeper.
Number 1 yet.
Yeah. It's fairly audacious from him, and it's also a finish that, I mean, I'm thinking of his Bournemouth days. He had some good finishes, good variety of finishes, but I can't think of a goal he scored like that before.
Yeah.
So I was surprised. Well, that's a good finish for you, mate. So
I'll tell you what, Spurs. I think it suits Dominic Solanke with their system.
I agree.
And then you got Brennan Johnson. I think he enjoyed himself. He injected a lot of pace into the game.
He's a good player. I like Brennan Johnson. I've heard him interview a few times. He comes across like a really well-grounded, likable character. And I think he had a bit of stick from the Spurs fans early in the season, and he seems to have taken it on board, not let it affect him too much, and he's just come out and let his football do the talking. So again, I'm not trying to, show some Spurs love in here, but I'm happy for him because I think, I don't like when players get dug out on social media, and I don't agree with that. We all have bad games and bad spells, but you got to stick by your team. So, I think, I think he was a threat yesterday.
Then we got James Maddison. He was a big impact off the bench. Scored a wonderful free kick. And he gives them so much creativity, I think.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, you forget the whole first half, Maddison wasn't on the pitch, and you're thinking, wow, he's still got to come on. If they need someone to help, then they can bring him on to unlock defenses or put the ball in the channels that players can run into. And he came on and hit that free kick. I always think when he comes on the pitch, or when we're playing against Maddison, he's always going to score against us. I just always have that feeling.
Because he has scored against us when he's Leicester City days.
Yeah, he did. Exactly. Yeah, he sort of scarred me from that. And I think he gets quite a kick out of it because I read something somewhere, or he might have said it. I just don't think he likes the Villa because he's a Coventry lad, isn't he?
Oh, right. I didn't know that. That's interesting.
I'm pretty sure I don't want to say like hates us, but I don't think he's our biggest fan. I'm pretty sure he played for Coventry as a youth, and Coventry and Villa have got this sort of historic sort of rivalry, probably more on the Coventry side. And I think he still has that, and I think he gets quite a buzz out of scoring against the Villa, so he's probably up for it when he plays against us.
And Maddison, he always unlocks defences. He seems to do that.
He does. Yeah.
So after this result, do you feel concerned? And what do you expect from Wednesday night?
I'm not. I don't want to say I'm concerned just yet. From the things that we've just said and sort of putting everything into perspective, I'm not concerned. Wednesday's going to be a difficult task. Club Brugge, they sit second in the Belgian Pro League, I believe. They have a decent mixture of wealth and experience. So they've youth and experience. So I think they've got Simon Mignolet, the ex-Liverpool goalkeeper. They've got Boyata, who played for Celtic. Those two.
I remember him. Yeah, they've got some good experience in there. Then.
Yeah. So I think, and they've got some good young players. It's a small ground. I think the capacity for their ground, I think it's only about 30,000, 29,000 capacity. Okay. So I'm expecting it to be sort of a tight, intimate atmosphere, and they're going to be up for it. Premier League team coming over. So I think it's going to be tough, but I do think, our experience at hostile places like Legia Warsaw in the Europa Conference last year, and Lille and places like that.
Olympiacos.
Yeah. I do think we're better at handling those sort of atmospheres now, but don't get me wrong, I'm expecting a tough game, and I think Unai is going to get into them after yesterday, and I think they'll be focused, they'll be prepared. So I think we'll be okay, but it will be tough.
And in Unai we trust.
In Unai we do trust, and if Unai says it, then I believe it. So
the Club Brugge, are they one of the top Belgium sides? They are, aren't they?
They're one of the top Belgium sides, yeah.
I think Anderlecht.
Anderlecht. I think Lander Den Donker's on loan there, isn't he, at the minute?
He is, yeah.
Yeah. So they're a top side, and they've been in the Champions League consistently for years now, in and out of it, and in it consistently. So they know about the competition well.
I don't think we should panic yet. There's still a lot of time to fix what's gone on. This is the game where we need to bounce back.
Yeah, we do. I think, look, every team has a bit of a purple patch and has a bit of a a rough ride sometimes with results, and sometimes things don't go your way. And I think it's about showing character and personality to come out of those sort of slumps. And I think notoriously, when we look at our big heavy losses in the past, Unai's corrected it quite quickly.
It's a bit like in the last season, the beginning of the season when Tyrone Mings got injured.
Yes,
We
with
lost, we
Newcastle.
lost to Newcastle 5-1.
Yeah,
So it don't happen often, but it's only happened twice, I think.
I think as well before that, I think his first season, I think it
Was
might
it?
be Leicester actually. They battered us at home.
Or 4-2, that was it, yeah.
Yeah, but we quickly corrected it, and we've gone on and achieved things. So I think, yeah, it's a good chance to sort of correct the wrongs or right the wrongs, as you say. I think the players will be up for it. Champions League. So I'm not worrying just yet, but I think
Yes.
it's going to be in their minds. Lost to Palace, lost to Spurs. If we lose against Club Brugge, it just sort of knocks the confidence a bit, doesn't it? And players work on that mentality, and they rely a lot on their confidence. So hopefully we can just sort of come out of Belgium with something, keep that momentum in the Champions League, and then take it into the Prem. I mean, we've got another tough fixture on the weekend, haven't we?
Liverpool.
So yeah, the games come thick and fast, but that's what we want as fans. We want these games, these competitions. It's just about how we manage them.
The thing is, if we win on Wednesday, you get top of the Champions League.
Yeah, and I think if we win, we can sort of be. I don't want to be complacent here, but we can be a bit more comfortable and think, okay, we've got some points on the board now. Like we should realistically qualify for the next stage, so we can slightly turn our focus to the Premier League again and sort of really kick on with that. But I mean, I don't know how Unai is going to want to work that, and he probably wouldn't agree with that. I think every game is important, every competition is important, but yeah, we'll see.
Well, I think we're going to get at least to the last 16. We'll definitely get there, I think.
Yeah, we should do now. I mean, we've set ourselves up for that. If we don't now, then that's quite a capitulation. I think we're in the driving seat, and it's only ours to sort of lose in that sense. I think the win against Bayern Munich was the shock, and that gave us extra points that we probably
That's the
didn't
thing.
expect.
We can beat Bayern Munich. See, we can beat all the top teams.
Yeah, and I'm going to sound cliche, but on our day, I do genuinely think we can beat anybody. But I just think like the Champions League and that atmosphere, like the players feel slightly different for it. So it's almost like they're getting a bit more up for it because it's such a novelty right now. And then by the time the Premier League comes around, they're a bit fatigued, a bit tired. I don't want to give them excuses because I don't like all that sort of stuff. But
yeah,
it's mentality, the mental side of it's a big thing for players, and I think they do think that way sometimes.
And I think it's a real chance to give us a reaction. That's what we've got to do. But Emery now, he's always thinking about the next game.
Yeah, he is. Yeah. What do you think about squad rotation? Because we've got Liverpool coming up on the weekend. Do you think he's going to play a strong team, or do you think he's going to play the same team as the weekend, or what? Do you think?
Well, personally, I would really go strong. I would, only because of the level of opposition. I think maybe in the Champions League on Wednesday, he might make maybe 2 or 3 changes, maybe.
3 changes.
So not maybe.
Do you think in the defensive area, midfield area?
Yeah, you might like change it around a bit, like. But also, it'd be nice actually. Like Tyrone Mings. Is he going to get a Champions League game?
Yeah, I think he looked good midweek against Palace. Like it was just good to see him back. I love Tyrone Mings. I'm such a big fan. He's been with us for so long. He sort of really encapsulates what Villa is and who we are as a club, and I just think he gets it. And he seems like a nice guy, doesn't he?
He's real humble.
Yeah, so I was really pleased for him to see him walk back out on the pitch and play. And obviously we lost, but I sort of wasn't really bothered about the loss, which might be controversial to some people. But just seeing Buendia, Kamara, and Mings all back on that pitch after like
They're not
such
new signings.
exactly new signings. Yeah,
The Torrent Mings as well. He gives some leadership qualities. He does.
he really
He's
does.
very,
Yeah,
very vocal.
vocal and aerial. He's such a presence in the air for headers when the ball's coming in. Like we have missed that, I think.
Doesn't go. I think maybe that's what we're missing. Because I think, well, I'm going to come to this now, but how do we improve defensively?
I think I sort of touched on it earlier. I think with Kamara coming back, which sounds a bit doesn't sound weird because I think he's a defensive-minded midfielder, but I think he covered our back four a lot last year, and when he's missing, you start to realise how I don't want to say how exposed we are, but I just think he offers that level of protection that helps. So I think if we can integrate Kamara back, as we are sort of doing, I think that will help the defense a lot more. And then, Mings, is he ready to be starting week in, week out? I'm not sure. It was a long injury.
Break him in gently.
Yeah, break him in gently. I think he'll be a big, big addition, though, when he does come in. I'm not going to dig Cash out too much because I do think he gets a lot of unnecessary stick, but I wouldn't mind seeing the Nedeljkovic given a go just because, I don't know, I just think we are struggling a bit at the minute. And I know Nedeljkovic played a couple of games early on and he looked quite lightweight, but he looked okay. And I just think he's only going to improve if he plays.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't mind seeing him in and around. The obvious one is to put Konza at right back. And I know Konza's not the massive fan of that, but I do think it gives us a bit more solidity back there when he's at right back.
I would like that Ian Martin as well.
Ian Maatsen, yeah. Again, I forget about it. Like, he's a great left back, and every time he's come on,
he got to the Champions League final.
He did. Yeah, for Dortmund, yeah, he did. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, and he can't. I mean, since Luca Digne has he's seen like Maatsen and Moreno come in. It's almost like he's just decided, you know what, this left back position's mine and mine only, and he's become this powerhouse of a left back. So credit to him for keeping him out of this team. But I do think it's time for Maatsen to come in and just give us a bit of a fresh, a bit of a refresh. It's coming to that time of the year now where games are coming thick and fast. Let's energize, especially our defensive back line. I agree with you. I think Maatsen would be a good addition.
I think in the defensive issues, better communication at the back. We need to be a lot more organised, I think.
Yeah.
And also, I think in that Spurs game, we lost our focus. We need to concentrate a bit more and defend for the whole 90 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think Mings gives that communication. I think always tries to keep players focused. I mean, look at the whole team. They all need to sort of remind each other to keep focused. But I agree. Defensively, I look at the back line and I'm like, who's the real leader there? Out of you think about Konza, Torres, Carlos, Digne, Cash. The obvious one would be Konza because he's been there longer. I know he's quite good at shouting and sort of barking at players, but I feel like Mings is a bit more of a calmer presence, and I think we do miss that. So I agree with you. Communication, a sort of calmness, and hopefully, that will sort of bring around. We need to keep a clean sheet.
Yeah, we need
in the Premier League, at least. In Champions League, not so bad, but we
can't keep clean sheets.
I know, and I have Martinez in my fantasy Premier League team, and he's not doing me any favours.
I bet Martinez. I bet he's not happy with it either.
No, he's not, and these players aren't. They're proud of their sort of records, and every goalkeeper wants to keep a clean sheet. I just think I go into every game now like thinking I think we're going to win, but I'm always like, oh, it'll be like 3-1 or 2-1. Like we won't be. We're always going to concede a goal. That's my mentality now at the minute, which needs to shift. Really,
that's what when you put a bet on now. You always bet that they're going to concede at least one goal.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, yeah, I agree though. Communication, organisation, bit of calmness, and I think the defence will slowly steady then.
Well, one more thing before we finish.
Yeah.
So, what is your score prediction for Wednesday?
For Wednesday. Oof. Well, we have been keeping clean sheets in the Champions League, so
Yeah.
I would like to think that will continue. It's going to be a tough game, though. It really is going to be a tough game. They're going to be at it. I think we've got more than enough. I honestly do. I'm going to be confident. I'm going to go with a 2-0.
Good to be positive. Yeah, that's good.
I'm going to go with 2-0. Be positive. Clean sheet. Couple of goals. Get out of Belgium. 3 points. Thank you very much.
Well, I'm gonna go with a 1-1 draw.
Okay.
Only because to stop the rot.
Yeah, that's fair. That's sensible.
See, that's right. I'm gonna give you a shout out. So everyone, if you haven't yet, go and check out the Football Brief. Please subscribe to the Football Brief.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's new. It's in its infancy at the minute, and we're hoping to get a bit more consistent with obviously the posts and stuff, and just sorting out scheduling times. But yeah, that's something that's going to be reoccurring and hopefully hitting the ground running. So yeah, thank you for the shout out.
That is all that is left for this week's weekly recap. Remember to subscribe if you haven't. Give this video the thumbs up. Give it a share it around. Give us a good review on audio platforms, that always helps. Also, let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Thank you for your time, Aaron.
Thank you for having me, Chad. It's been a pleasure as always.
Thank you everyone for watching. Villa forever and up the Villa.